Hello everybody, welcome to Sesi Fikirasa forum pertama. Tajuknya Movement for Camera, Choreography and Cinematography. So event ni dibawakan oleh Ensembel Teater Kaos Nol dengan kerjasama Moka Mocha Ink. And this event juga supported by CENDANA. So today we have like a great group of panel. Maaf ya, campur-campur bahasa aku. So mungkin kita boleh introducekan diri sendiri like with one or three sentences supaya audience kita akan know more about you lah, walaupun mungkin sudah terkenal. So we go alphabetical order. Amirul, yang our DOP.
Hello, nama saya Amirul. Lebih dikenali dalam Amirul Rahman, tapi orang panggil saya Abel. Okay, saya dalam Tiada Cinta Selama Muda ni saya sebagai DOP, tapi saya masih tak anggap saya sebagai DOP. Saya hanya camera operator. Tapi tapi saya berusaha untuk menjadikan DOP itu sebagai satu title yang bukan sekadar title. Dan dalam segmen ni saya akan berkongsi mengenai pasal kamera, macam mana kamera itu berkongsi rasa bersama performer dalam perform di hadapan kamera untuk mencipta satu filem. Okey, itu saja.
Thank you Amirul. So yang next ialah Fara, yang ikon kat poster kita.
Hai semua, nama saya Fara Kafli, lebih dikenali sebagai Fara. Sama dengan yang lain, saya adalah salah seorang ensemble untuk Kaos Nol. Nah ya.
Awesome. So Farah is also one of the actors dalam Tiada Cinta Selama Muda. And following, we're going to another actress, Hannan, juga actress.
Hello. Hai, nama saya Hannan Barakbah. Dah bekerja dengan Ridwan Saidi dari Neraka Blackout, and I managed to have my directorial debut with a curator dapur in Theatre Modular 3. So dah bekerjasama dalam quite a number of projects dah, and this is our first lah kan feature film that I am in as part of the ensemble juga. Yep.
Okay, thank you Hannan. Next is aku. So my name is Paik Yin. Saya interdisciplinary artist dan doing my masters in visual anthropology. Sebenarnya ni pertama kali I work with Ridwan dan Moka Mocha Ink, walaupun sudah lama kenal. Yeah, so I non-actor kot kat movie ni. So next we go to S, Sadiq.
Hi everyone, hello, hi. Saya Sadiq M dalam Tiada Cinta Selama Muda saya pelakon, and also ada buat makeup and juga wardrobe. Yeah.
Okay, so kadang-kadang with internet ada
pernah pakai ducks, yeah, and then start ke tadi? Is it?
So
Yeah.
The awesome thing about digital space, kadang-kadang dia macam improvisation, so boleh buatlah macam noise music sikit kan. So semua orang dah introduce themselves kecuali Syam dia audience. So kadang-kadang audience pun akan buat surprise appearance. So nanti when Syam join back, we will ask him to introduce himself, don't worry. But meanwhile, we can head to, since we introduce ourselves now, and Syam, also part of you, the audience. So we will move on to our first point lah. So our first point, mungkin like dari segi choreography and theater, kadang-kadang I think like it's interesting sebab like choreography is about movement, and so we're gonna do a short give you taster je sebab nanti ada forum panel yang akan discuss more about this, but we'll just touch about this, like what's the difference between choreography versus blocking the theater, or what's the difference between theater and film. So mungkin like we can start like by trying to define what choreography means lah, in terms of what like film ini kan. Like untuk yang buat actors kan, I know in theater ada like there's physical theater which I tak pernah participate, but it has some relation to choreography. But so that's the introduction for our next session. Meanwhile, kita punya esteemed audience sudah balik. Syam will introduce himself.
Sorry, ada internet connection problem tadi. Oh yeah, hi everyone. Nama saya Amirul, boleh panggil Syam. Seorang theatre actor, dan I'm actually a very avid theatre fan. If not for this COVID, I will probably watch theatre every week. Yeah, and saya terlibat dengan Ridwan dalam beberapa projek. In fact, my first acting debut was with Ridwan in Modula 3, Hotel Berdarah. Yeah, so.
Okay, thank you. So now you know us. Kalau you nak introduce yourself dan chat in the chat, we will respond to you. So don't worry, we will respond to you. Chat je. So we'll move on to the first part lah. Tadi dah introduce like choreography versus blocking. So Syam walaupun audience, tapi dia ada experience dalam theater. So I'm the one with the least experience in theater kot. Aku buat backstage kat theater. Mungkin we can buat macam sesi bual, like what's the difference between choreography and blocking. So if there's dancers out there, you nak comment, please enlighten us juga. We're not here to give you answers, we're just like throw opinion. So I'm curious, like kalau actor yang buat kat theater stage kan, do you have any thoughts like about choreography and like the difference between choreography and physical theater? Ada?
Siapa nak start dulu?
Mungkin boleh ask the question, siapa pernah buat physical theater atau pernah participate or watch physical theater?
I believe
Pernah.
was here.
Tapi in the physical theatre ni is still, as I think in a local context, is still undefined as it is for choreography for actors. Yeah, I think so. So to say we have done physical theatre. Tak tahu, tak sure, you know. Yeah.
So kadang-kadang like I suppose things are a bit like obscure, tapi like mungkin like one question I had masa kita punya meeting kan, kadang-kadang I feel like theater blocking pun there's some elements of choreography juga. So I was wondering whether you guys like any ada
Yeah. I think daripada perspektif audience, kalau for me, I look at choreography is more elaborate, like maybe musical theatre. That's more, I would say, defined, in terms of. So it's just not only movement. There are sometimes dance that's involved and things like that. So it's very elaborate lah. Tapi kalau macam staging tu, it's more like in terms of the positioning of the actors on stage. So for me, kalau it's in a simple form, choreography is more elaborate lah compared to just staging. Yeah.
I think I agree with Syam, but also in a way, kalau kita tengok dari segi theatre, because as an actor we have that element just now, we say blocking kan, but also we express ourselves dengan words, dengan our dialogue, and for why we see the elaborateness in choreography in dancing or in musical theatre, maybe because that's how they primarily express themselves. So I guess in theatre, we can say that yes, blocking would be a part of kononnya choreography, because that, but it becomes secondary unless you're doing Shakespeare. Then it helps with presenting the wordings better because it's a heavy script, you know. Yeah, but I tried to Google choreography, but it might just be in a different context altogether. But I would say kinda yes, blocking for actors can sort of have that macam ada quite almost the same level of choreography for dancers, but still not quite.
Mungkin I feel like era sekarang, like you know, we have like digital technology and then like banyak disiplin yang dia cross over. So I feel like mungkin like susah untuk kita nak define juga. So kalau ada audience yang nak tahu lebih, nanti forum pukul 4 panel, the second panel boleh join. Tapi meanwhile, at least for me, aku punya definition kot. I read somewhere that choreography is led by movement, whereas in like movement to express and not so much text. Whereas theatre, dia punya impetus to jalan or to move to a space is based on text. Text meaning script lah. So we have like different kind of opinions. So if you're interested in like you know the mechanics of theatre, boleh join panel 2. Meanwhile, we stick to theatre. Tiada Cinta Selama Muda. And then I thought like why we bring up choreography and why we had to define choreography sebab kami nak discuss pasal choreography on and off camera. Like the process of like to do this film kan quite interesting sebab dia ada banyak movements and sometimes our movement mungkin pun yang kita dapat punya text or script dia movement based. So I don't know, aku pun like feel like it's choreography in some ways, but actually it's moved by text. So aku pun like macam keliru.
I think we can kind of sort of explain in a way how Tiada Cinta Selama Muda punya framing. First, for some people who have kind of no idea, maybe that first, yeah, why, and then maybe why we jump into choreography. Okay, back to you. Sorry.
Tapi just maybe to sum up, kalau macam layman term kan, kalau I tengok dia choreograph movement, maksudnya I tahu dia tak berapa natural lah. Tapi kalau macam blocking to me it feels a bit natural lah, walaupun memang ada rehearsal process in that one. So if I see something, if I know, I feel it's not natural, I mean I know it's a bit choreographed, yeah, at least in layman definition lah.
Actually, just now Hannan tadi proposed that we should give like a background story about Tiada Cinta Selama Muda, which is great. But I'm going to push it back to Hannan and Sadiq because you were there for day one. So mungkin Sadiq or Hannan boleh like give us some context.
Sadiq punya internet connection macam mana?
Sorry? Okay, I'm so sorry, my internet connection, I don't know what happened today. So yeah, where were we?
We can maybe talk about because I was telling Pain like the framing of Tiada Cinta Selama Muda. We went straight into choreography, but we didn't kind of say like kenapa we talk about choreography in the first place. Even though we're talking about a film, kan? Because I think that choreography might not be the first word that you associate with kalau you cakap pasal film. Of course, the first thing would be acting. But so yeah, just a bit of a framework of how we started off Tiada Cinta Selama Muda was basically that frame that Ridwan gave kind of like a, was it like a compilation or short story ke macam mana dia, sebab dia macam segmen.
Yeah, dia macam pecahan story and
pecahan story tak semestinya karakter yang sama atau ada yang tak ada karakter, ada pecahan yang hanya menampakkan the venue of macam the atmosphere of the scene, ada yang ada karakter, ada yang tak ada. So the pecahan-pecahan cerita, lepas tu kita ada satu discussion mana kita plan out okay, because of MCO kita terpaksa buat on the weekends with smaller groups, and then in that those weekends tu kita pick out those pecahan cerita yang saya cakap tadi untuk explore.
I think like on our side, on my side, like aku masuk like kat tengah-tengah kan. The PDF I received, I remember like some of them seem to be abstract stories, so aku boleh tambah aku punya sendiri punya narration. Some of them macam puisi, so I wasn't sure whether you guys received the same PDF. And then other like some of the text like they're really heavy based on movement. Sebab tu aku tertarik join project ini.
Yes. Yeah.
So actually we received the same text. We received the same PDF lah. Okay. So actually like thanks also. That's kind of through this discussion kita pun nak dapat like some sort of like summary. Ada like any other extra input? Just chat je, jangan shy.
Saya pendapat saya tentang koreografi. Koreografi ni adalah sesuatu benda yang berkaitan dengan tubuh. Apa-apa yang benda bergerak. Kalau dalam skop sinematografi, saya anggap sinematografi adalah satu kebebasan di mana dia ada benda yang dirancang tapi dia memberi satu kebebasan kepada performer untuk berinteraksi dengan tubuh sendiri. Bereksperimental ni dia macam mencuba macam mana kita bergerak seringin dan bergerak satu dua tiga rangkap yang sama berulang kali dan kita faham tubuh kita. Dan dia sama dengan puisi macam contoh patung ada pembayang dan masuk. Pembayang dan masuk kalau perasan dia 4 rangkap dia sama tapi masuk berlainan. So sama dengan koreografi step 1 mesti lain, step 2 lain, tapi kita nampak secara visual ada sama, tapi perasaan pada audience dan performer adalah lain. Performer maybe saya anggap ia unconscious, tapi untuk audience dia nampak satu yang dramatik. Itu pendapat saya untuk koreografi.
Okay. So like me, okay, I rasa macam my first time I heard the word choreography is when I was form 1 actually. So I started schooling at Sekolah Seni Johor. So dalam tu kita macam belajar dance, music, theater and also visual arts. So I still remember masa tu first time I masuk kelas menari. So my cikgu ada macam ajar steps tau, dancing steps. So yeah, so dancing steps but then that was steps. Tapi and then dia cakap okay, we have to like bergerak and tapi dia bagi pergerakan tu in like paper tau. Dia tulis dekat kertas dan dia cakap okay, lepas ni kita kena move sini, and he called that as pola lantai. And when we start menari, and I mean like choreography happens when the steps and when the steps dijadikan satu arrangement, an art arrangement that for performance. Yeah, because like in theater, I remember macam pun kita ada macam pergerakan like blocking and all the leveling and all kan. So the blocking tu is the in like theater, I feel like that's the pergerakan untuk ke blocking tu, that's like the the choreography. And like in Tiada Cinta Selama Muda, and I still remember was the first kali we start in the first meeting dengan Hannan tu semua, Ridwan cakap okay, mana scene yang korang nak pilih, yang mana yang korang suka, and on that time terang macam discuss, okay we start dengan pantai. So yeah, we start the first kali dekat pantai, and yes, we've read the story, tapi we are not like 100% clear that what are we going to do, like because we know that in the text Ridwan ada tulis like ada movement, duduk sebelah, there's a movement, tapi macam so that movement tu dia dah that's like the steps lah kan, he dah bagi the steps. So masa dekat set tu he give us dia bagi kita orang bersama-sama tu choreograph it lah, because like the pola lantai is like the movement of the camera, and he give us the actor untuk dia bagi step yang 1, 2, 3, 4 for us like to make the movement into a choreography that, I mean like choreography is something that composing an art form that is composed kan. So I kind of feel like macam tu lah. Yeah.
And I think also it's the beauty of, I think, this project, how I feel, yang kan kita pilih-pilih and then kita dapat pantai as the first scene, and the beauty of it is it was just framing, like it was whatever that kita fill up to the content of it is very, very collaborative with everyone, and which makes the beauty of the whole thing. And then when we got into the choreography tu, choreography tu memang dah dalam kepala Ridwan, dia dah ada like okay, this is how I want to do it. How many shots tu kita tengok lah macam mana. But yeah, the funny part is, yeah, you wouldn't expect to have a movement choreography scripted in a framing of a text.
Yeah.
But we had that, and lucky for us, we have a good team to play around with it. Yeah. Yeah. So the first pantai was the one with Bedok, Sadiq, the picture on the left, right? Yin, you wanna?
I think like the share screen just give the audience a context of scene apa yang kita cakap, so Hannan boleh continue je. So thanks for pointing out, you're talking about the one with semua pun ada 3 orang, the one like Sadiq dengan Hannan pagi.
Tapi interesting, from what I hear Sadiq and Hannan mention, it seems to be because I'm not directly involved in this project, tapi Ridwan's approach in theatre, where he always wants to try something different dekat rehearsal, he is bringing that to also the filmmaking process, no? So maybe from the actors who has worked with Ridwan in theatre and also now in cinematography, right? Is there any difference that you feel between that in theatre process and also in this filmmaking process? Because I feel he's maintaining that experimentation and things like that kan. Tapi because dekat filem kan kita kena ada macam set, ada macam 3 jam kita kena buat ni. As opposed to rehearsal kita boleh hari-hari try kan. So macam I feel there's a bit of constraint lah dekat filmmaking kan.
Yeah, I think we talked a bit about that the other day also. But then, Farah, senyap je.
Now you guys are talking, so
Farah cakap.
okay, fine. Okay, basically saya sama macam Pak Yin, masuk tengah-tengah juga, and I terus on the spot masa tu terus combine dengan dia. And tapi yang back to the pantai scene was for me it was the most beautiful one lah, because it's like knowing how Ridwan works and then seeing those choreograph on the screen is like, what is this beauty? To be honest, dia macam tu, the feeling like, oh, okay. But yeah.
You guys had a choreography also kan?
So Anand, okay, I nak tanya Anand dengan Sadiq, like on that day kan, especially the pantai scene dengan beduk tu semua including dengan Amirul, like
Yeah.
sorry?
Oh, lag sikit
Sorry, I think my line got lag just now. So apa boleh repeat tadi Hanan?
I was just asking like you dengan Paik Yin ada satu scene of movement together kan? Also.
Ya, tangga.
Oh
It's in
yeah,
the trailer.
dan Paik Yin.
It's in the trailer.
That one,
Yeah. How was that?
if I'm not mistaken, yang itu based on, I'm trying to remember back. It based on poem kan, if I'm not mistaken. Pain. Itu tak?
I just remember dia ada movement, and what was in the scene was something that we tried something else, because initially we were supposed to link up
Same.
the steps, tapi like my spine is not like smooth enough and shallow enough, so in the end we did what we did. So if you're curious, you can check out the trailer.
I think that's also like an element to if we do movement kan, like that constraints that you have that you have to think about, which a lot of times macam acting, a lot of constraints just come with you, like just you more on internal constraints. Tapi when it comes to, because I'm not a dancer, so I wouldn't know this external constraints of having a movement partner. And I think that is something that we macam kita develop through having this movement. I realized that, oh, okay, the constraints. For example, Sadiq is very tall. So, if we go to that picture just now, if we go to the picture yang tadi tu, you can see that I had this struggle of, okay, where should I put my head? Okay. Yeah. So, so the constraint that Bain mentioned just now, pasal macam body kan. Macam tadi pun you were thinking, we had those lah, macam mana nak letak tangan? Rambut nak letak mana? Dah lah dua-dua rambut kita orang melayang dua-dua dengan angin kat situ, ke sini ke sana. And then like I was like, should I tie my hair? Should I let it down? You know? And Sadiq and I also had this inquiry where like, should we be feeling? Like, how should we be feeling? Macam kan, so nampak tak macam distress sikit muka tu? Adalah feeling juga kan? All these constraints that I think kalau we were to put macam on stage would be totally different. And in this case kita dibawa ke outdoor dekat tepi pantai dengan angin, dengan batu, you know, dengan lecak air, apa benda dengan suddenly ada binatang somewhere lah keluar, you know.
Ada kun yang tak boleh bergerak, yang memang ada dekat situ je.
Oh yeah, that kun.
Yeah. There's like one kun tak jalan and it's like do movement kan.
Yeah.
Actually about constraint kan, I'm curious like sebab Syam, like when you watch scene ini, sebab Syam ada datang to like our private viewing, like when you watch this scene ni kan, so obviously you didn't know the struggle that the actors had to go through. As an audience, like, I mean, if you, what did you feel about this scene? Aku curious pun. Like what sort of emotion ada keluar tak?
Yeah, I feel the landscape was really beautiful masa tengok tu, and then there is this sense lah, so because dia macam abstract sikit kan, because there was not dialogue, and so for me I was reading it, there's a struggle between unrequited love, that's my feeling masa tengok scene tu. And of course Sadiq macam jackass sikit lah. So sorry my word lah. Macam rasa sikit je tu. And Hannan was trying so hard to get his attention. And after not getting his attention, Hannan went to Shuni kan. So there was that unrequited love punya feeling. But I although tak ada text kan, tapi there was a lot of emotion that I felt through that scene. And the external factor, the pantai, all of that kan, ada macam feeling angin macam tu, pokok-pokok tu, brings that even more deeper. So I think maybe kalau compared to theatre, because tak ada kan, just a stage kan, the external elements bring a lot more metamorphosis into that scene lah, I feel, as an audience. You know?
So tadi actually Hannan tengah cakap about the one with like the rocks kan.
Yeah. Tapi I think there is a sense of memang ada similarity in sense of constraint tu.
Tapi mungkin from the audience perspective dia lebih tertarik kepada scene yang pantai tu. So I think the beauty about film kadang like macam time and space macam collide. But of course like theatre kan black box. And in film, kita ada like the person behind the camera. So mungkin Amirul pun boleh cakap pasal like macam mana you frame the scene kan. Because for me like kalau datang from performance side, Amirul macam like dah buat stage untuk kita in like this crazy big environment. So mungkin
True.
Amirul pun boleh elaborate your process.
I ada soalan untuk Amirul.
Yeah.
Because dua scene ni dekat pantai kan. So how was it on that day? Like macam ada possibility untuk the actors tu terjatuh ke, sebab everything was dekat kawasan tu kan nampak muddy and whatnot. So how was it on that day? How was the safety regulation and whatnot on that day itself? I curious tau sebab I macam lawan tapi what's that?
Safety. Kita cakap pasal safety. Ya. Okay. Scene pantai ni dua-dua agak special untuk saya secara personal sebab ini dua-dua pantai kegemaran saya secara peribadi. Saya bawa Ridwan ke sini memang untuk bagi dia untuk berkarya, bagi dia satu story. Sebab saya selalu pergi ke pantai ini dan saya terbayar satu story, tapi sebab saya seorang yang bukan yang boleh buat story, so saya perlukan satu director yang power untuk create story. So saya bawa Ridwan Zaidi. Okay, saya bawa Ridwan Zaidi dan dia telah merealisasikan apa yang saya ingin selama ni. So memang terjadilah suatu visual poetic yang menggabungkan koreografi dan sinematografi. Okay, bercakap pasal frame ni, saya suka apa yang dikatakan oleh Paik Yin yang mengenai saya sediakan pentas. Okay, berbalik pada koreografi. Koreografi kita bercakap pasal freedom, tapi freedom kita bersama performer dan saya juga salah satu performer yang secara tidak langsung saya aware terhadap sekeliling saya. So sini sebenarnya kita apa yang disembahkan dalam kita nampak performer ada 3 orang yang tengah perform satu act yang dikontrol oleh koreografi, disembah koreografi. Dan cakap mengenai semua ini, space pentas mestilah kena ada sesuatu yang mengenai space and time. Okay, kita tahu secara jelas dia siang. Okay, masa siang kita pergi ke pantai, dah sure kita nak capture nature dia, mana sifat dia, angin. Sebab kalau pergi malam memang tak nampak visual ni. So saya sediakan satu frame full shot untuk merakam nature itu bersama performer. Dan juga secara tidak langsung koreografi itu terselah. Dan satu lagi cakap pasal koreografi dalam frame, ada 3 benda yang saya selalu aware pasal benda ni, iaitu kepala dan kaki. Di mana kaki bergerak, di situ saya bergerak. Di mana kepala ke hadapan, di situ kamera akan beranjak ke hadap belakang. Dan Dan berbalik pada safety, saya tahu tempat itu penuh dengan lumpur, batu dan banyak benda yang boleh mencelakakan saya dan juga kru yang lain. Tapi saya sebenarnya kalau pergi buat sesuatu camera movement, saya tak suka orang di sekeliling saya sebab saya lebih suka saya bersama nature. Tapi sebab itu kita ada Aizam, ada Ridwan, jadi dia kontrol saya punya gerakan juga sebab dia akan cakap bila ada batu. Dan saya tiba-tiba secara automatik saya aware dengan arahan ada batu. Saya tiba-tiba saya automatik.
I think this is yang kita mention hari tu pasal then I can hear myself.
Okay.
Amirul, okay, sorry. I think yang kita mention pasal on-screen and off-screen choreography tu. Yeah. Because Amirul cerita pasal apa kan Kak Aizah dan Ridwan macam control pergerakan dia. It's sort of like a performance for me also. But it's more of like macam dia jadi off-screen choreography lah. Yeah. Tapi yang on-screen is what Amirul is seeing, but the off-screen is on-screen is what Amirul is seeing, off-screen is what I am seeing. Yeah, okay.
So actually like it's also interesting lah, like macam Hannan kata it's a performance to watch Amirul juga. So in a way like mungkin like to perform, I don't know, like aku rasa macam mungkin to perform in this film in some ways, dia macam ada relationship. You know like kan Hannan ada tadi kata like you know your relationship to your surroundings, you kena watch out for like you know batu-batu. Tapi sebab ada batu, then the camera person pun dia kena harus dijaga oleh orang lain like crew. So macam kita boleh masuk to the idea of like relationship, like how actor to actor have a relationship bila kita buat performance. But of course like on stage there's a lot of things behind the scenes yang kita tak nampak. Bagi saya like what's interesting in this film, aku boleh nampak like Amirul juga perform walaupun kita tak nampak your body, tapi Amirul juga the camera person or just in case lah yang baru join, Amirul the camera person, dia pun ada bergerak. So dia movement agak strong dalam filem ini juga. And for Hannan and Sadiq, Fara disappeared, tapi like okay when she come back, kan theater dia set kan, so like it's fixed. So this one dia ada banyak elemen just like Hannan dan Sadiq tadi bincang. Mungkin kita boleh cakap pasal like what's like this relationship you have like with Amirul, and then like Syam pun boleh join in kan, like could you see the relationship dalam filem, like meaning like
I was just thinking was while observing the comments kan, kalau macam theater kita tengok relationship between actor to actor kan, not so much of external because it's a fix. Normally kadang-kadang black box kan, but this in this context kan, seolah-olah macam angin tu pun perform, pantai tu pun perform. There is a performance because like there was one scene especially where the angin
sangat ni.
no spoil.
It feels that there is the performance that's from not just the actors tau. So I think Amirul's I was just thinking about how to capture those, because kita tak boleh control, kita tak boleh beritahu angin tu how they want to behave kan. So but in a way finding that moment it can create that context to that scene kan. So I guess that's also interesting about the timing, how you kind of create that moment, not create that moment, but I mean just capturing that moment lah. So for me, that's just interesting remembering so because like very different lah. So there is the element of in a way performance by external factors lah.
So it's like thanks for the nasib baik ada cut about like no spoilers. Kalau nak tengok you get to wait for the film. Sorry, so tadi tak clear sangat. Mungkin I nak tanya juga because like Syam kata like you can see the camera movements and things like that, right? You kind of mentioned that, I hope. But aku ingat Amirul masa tu when we were talking our meeting, Amirul ada mention tau, like what's interesting. Dia kata kamera seperti magnet dengan actor. Mungkin like we can touch on this, like as an actor, you ada perasan tak that you ada satu magnet dengan Amirul, atau Amirul je yang feel ada magnet ni? Farah nak komen? Ada magnet tak?
Yeah, I can rasa. Because like, you know, because okay, first masa time yang shoot ni memang it feels, I mean, sebab I know, okay, first is the space lah kan, because of the pantai. I'm happy sebelum ni pernah buat site specific theatre, so dia rasa macam familiar sikit. And also like as a model, I always like, you know, macam to make sure like I have a macam I need to like have my angle, macam yeah, macam do I look okay semua kan. So macam when I see tengok balik playback yang first time tu, macam I know okay, I kena rapat dengan kamera this much je. So macam apa-apa pun kita orang kena mungkin like 1 or 2 meter kan. So macam tak boleh jauh, tak boleh dekat. Kita kena our position kena sama panjang macam tu je kan. So macam magnet lah. Ya, so rasa macam magnet. Kita tak boleh melekat sebab kita akan tolak, tak boleh pergi jauh sangat. So macam kita kat situ je sama-sama. Macam tu. Ya.
Adik dia punya magnet dia lain sikit lah. Dia punya magnet tu dia kau-kau punya magnet sikit.
Kita berada dalam medan magnet yang sama.
Tapi betul lah macam sebab kita nak aware dengan space tu kan. So macam kita tahu okay, mungkin kita ada 5 langkah je jauh daripada Amirul dan 5 langkah je. So macam that's the step lah macam kita. Dan on the same time pun macam pergerakan kita nak ke belakang, kita kena make sure Amirul dah jalan ke belakang sikit supaya boleh nampak full kan. So macam yeah, that's the choreography of that lah kan.
I don't know about Farah, tapi aku teruk sangat. I macam tak perasan sangat magnet dengan Amirul because like I come from photography. Kalau aku like to give too much attention to Amirul, aku akan gelabar or I will become kayu. So in a way like for me opposite, because I come from the camera phase kan. So I had to like okay, aku trust je Amirul do his thing and will make me look like, you know, in frame semua. So Farah ada perasaan ni tak, like magnet?
I sebenarnya ada perasaan yang sama macam Sadiq dengan you juga at masa hari tu. Tapi at the same time pun I pun faham macam mana kalau menjadi from the perspective of a camera itself dan juga perspektif seorang pelakon. So that tarikan tu dia macam you know that you guys are, these two entity is pulling together but have to remain constant. It's like kalau yang contoh dua penumbuk ni dia macam okay, kalau yang satu ni bergerak, yang satu akan follow. Dia macam tu. So but the form of magnetism tu, magnetism penarikan tu dia akan remain constant. Okay, tak kisahlah if I decide is bad or not, tapi one of it is gonna pulling each other. So the magnet tu akan remain kat situ.
Wah, kita very scientific today ya. But maybe it's a little different for me. I try to avoid my very best from the camera. I tak suka kamera.
Why?
Kalau boleh I tak nak rasa ada magnet, whatever magnet. Kalau boleh I nak lupa yang ada kamera, baru I boleh express myself, because I feel that once you put me on the spot, I'll be like, what did I say? Like what was I saying? I tak boleh. So kalau boleh like so bila for example macam masa Amirul tengah menari depan kita dengan pegang kamera tu kan, koreografi dia sendiri, I was more concerned on him not falling so that I don't have to look at the camera. Macam yeah. So yeah, maybe magnet dari segi tu, maybe sebab tu I dapat B's for my science subjects, but I tak ada magnet. I tak ada full of magnet.
Aku ambil magnet as a interpretive for love. So sounds like everybody have different style. Macam Hannan punya like, you know, hard to get tapi aku care. So Amirul ada komen tak pasal magnet?
Atau
magnet,
magnet ni senang kita samakan dengan dia. Saya punya perspektif sama dengan chi, semangat energi. Dia macam hitam putih perlu bersama kan. Dia macam even dia lain hitam putih tapi dia masih bersama. Dia masih pilih apa dia circle yang sama. So dia macam tu lah. Dia punya magnet tu maybe macam tu. Saya punya perspektif lah. Dia bukan pasal unconscious. Maybe saya pun tak sedar tapi dia punya pergerakan movement tu yang seperti magnet. Kita sebagai performer, kita tak sedar kita membuat sesuatu seperti magnet. Tapi sebenarnya kalau berada di situ atau berada kita tengok dalam frame, kita seperti memang jelas kita seperti magnet. Tu contoh yang Shuni ada, Shuni pergi ke depan kamera. Saya secara automatik saya kena jauh daripada Shuni untuk dapatkan frame dia. Tapi untuk dapatkan frame itu, saya tak terlalu mencari-cari dia punya frame. Tapi dia punya daya data tu menjauhkan saya. Ya, tapi kat situ susah sikit sebab kita ada banyak aktor yang tinggi, Shuni dan Sadiq dan Hannan terendah. So, saya pun kena aware dengan dia punya space, space ketinggian. Kalau tengok boleh nampak, dia memang Hannan sikit lagi terkeluar. Kalau ni sebab tu daya magnet tu macam perlu untuk saya ada berada di medan magnet tu. Itu maksud saya. Medan magnet dia.
So just like love knows no heights and no bounds.
Yes.
I was curious like, so kalau you know we're talking about magnet antara like camera dengan apa the camera with the actor relationship. So obviously like rasanya, at least I hope from the audience perspective, like it would come through the camera. Tapi like of course kita semua ni bias, walaupun it's interesting for me sebab I wasn't in every day. So bila nampak scene like wow. So mungkin bagi Syam like in terms of magnetism, like in terms of the images yang keluar, did you feel like there was connection like between the scenes? Do you feel like connection in the film? No giveaways?
No, I'm just interested on Amirul when he mentioned about the chi, because we started from arts moving to science and then now we're on philosophy, right? So it's really interesting to see the flow of this discussion. So I just want to touch as an audience for Paik Yin, you mentioned about so for me the we talk about the magnet, but and then the chi. For me, chi is of course defined as energy, right? And to me as an audience, I feel I can sense that energy coming together, and of course Amirul played a huge part. Although maybe different actors have different process of relationship between, Hannan with Amirul, Sadiq different with, but from where I'm sitting and watching it, right? So I was moved by certain moments. Without giving away to the audience, of course, you kena tengok. So I was moved by certain moments in the scene where I saw that relationship coming together. Yeah, because sometimes in theater the actors try hard, but you don't feel it as an audience, kan? Maybe it's an off day or whatever, kan? But it just in that it moved me in a lot of times. If you just talk about just that pantai scene, kan, as the interchange between the three different actors, and of course I myself, because it's a little bit abstract, it reflects on certain moments that I had in my life in terms of relationship as well. So for me, that emotion really came out strongly, and I hope the audience also feels that. But at least for me, I really felt it, and in fact, just to share, I actually cried when I was watching it. You know, although tak nampak cover sikit, but yeah, it really moved me in that one. And when I go back to my example about the angin playing a part, batu playing the part kan, because it created that surreal impact tau. Macam bila rambut tu, so that feeling so I guess it is also in a way is the interplay of energies lah, different elements in that scene lah. I don't know. Maybe I'm sounding a bit philosophical because we're moving to philosophy, kan? Maybe Confucius right now, kan? So, but
maybe we can go back to the connection tadi. I think we didn't elaborate a bit more on. We did talk about kan macam tadi the relationship to actor and actor. I think maybe we can go into the actor and actor yang because I think one thing about collaborating that I want to bring up before we forget to mention, right? Before we forget to mention about collaborating choreography and all this. Collaborating also, especially when we only have a framework, I think one thing that we try to do is also get the strengths of each actor. Macam for example, Sadiq kan dancer, so kita adalah macam kita boleh masukkan elemen dancer tu di dalam performance dia. Kan macam I'm not a dancer, so maybe dancing is not in what I can contribute. So for example, kita ada some actors yang ada different kind of backgrounds macam silat and all that. So that can be included, and that can be the macam they have the upper hand lah, you know, so they can contribute in other ways in the sense of choreography. Macam, you want to continue with that?
Yeah, so I think to summarize, like, okay, what we talked about earlier on, like mungkin like, you know, even though we use different key terms to kind of define what we are talking about, actually, like, you know, like we use the term like chi, magnet, like scientific, so actually it's just different forms of expressing a process. So tu yang interesting. So I thought like what Hannan was talking about the relationship between actor, kan, like we mentioned a couple of like examples about the pantai scene. But I thought like also to highlight yang relationship between actor yang silat punya was also a very good example, sebab boleh nampak like I don't know, but I don't know how true this is. So actor and semua orang boleh correct aku. Like I feel like kadang-kadang dalam proses pembikin tak kira teater ke filem, dia ada hubungan, and it's also about trust in some ways. So mungkin kadang-kadang I'm also going to talk about audience perspective. Kadang-kadang when I watch a show, be it in film ke theater, mungkin kalau actor tu dalam stage or film image tak ada hubungan, rasanya macam tak ada feel lah. So susah nak cakap apa feel kan, like so in terms of this like relationship between actor dengan semua pembikin theater ke filem, I was also curious about, like Hannan tadi mention dia tahu strength actor, tapi bagi saya, I first time dengan like everybody, it's also interesting because like kena kadang-kadang improvise jugalah in some ways, and I feel like dalam filem ni ada banyak improvisation, and personally my practice like starts from improvisation, so aku macam like suka sangat lah, like improvisation. That's why I don't like script, because I like to improvise. So I was curious lah, like macam for you all kan, like how was it like process to improvise in terms of making this film, sebab dia macam abstract sangat, and for me like I like abstractions because I feel like I can put in my own input, or I can put in like, or if I do this movement ke, or I do this scene, I just tengoklah macam mana how I feel in that moment. Kalau aku kayu means kayu.
Yeah. I think that's what I was trying to say, like because kita improvise, you get to extract your own strengths. Kan? For in my case, words pun tak juga, I tak tahu lah, more for me, I don't know what my strength. But then, for example, like you dancer or mover, so your strength is in movement. So that can be extracted most out of your improvisation. And I think that's the beauty of having an ensemble. Kita ada different strengths from different people with the magical framework that Ridwan has already set, and we get to explore, which is great. Yeah.
So balik
I think like the most of the process, like the whole process ada macam rasa exploration and also improvise juga banyak, because like I still remember masa the first day, I actually rasa macam first day je I ask question yang you know, like details like macam what should I feel, like I ask Ridwan what should I feel, where should I nak pergi mana, yeah, macam, you know, like I want to know the story kan. And even the pantai scene tu, Ridwan even cakap, oh scene ni boleh jadi dekat mana-mana, mungkin boleh scene paling awal atau scene paling last ataupun dekat tengah-tengah, so we never know. So macam I don't know what should I feel kan. So dan lepas tu macam I just like feel in the moment lah, like you said kan. So I rasa macam after that the first scene, lepas tu rasanya yang lepas tu kita berlakon, we just feel in the moment, like see apa yang ada and just like rasa and just like yalah macam be aware with apa yang ada dekat situ lah kan. Ya, macam contohnya kalau scene macam outdoor kan, macam we have no light, tak ada lights, tak ada apa-apa, so just aware yang dekat mana sunlight datang, so macam
But just talking about improv kan dan silat scene tu, because I mean that definitely looks like some improvisation that was involved. Tapi kalau macam contoh kalau Nina and Rashid didn't have strong background in silat kan, that wouldn't have come out strongly as that move, because like when I was seeing the scene, without giving actually the scene itself, nampak strong dia punya kekuda tu kan. So kalau macam I try to fake silat, I try to improv, macam tak jadi macam tu tau. Even though I can improv and try to fake it kan, tapi but because I can even sense that they have a strong background in silat, that moment come out, so I then going back to Hannan, what Hannan says, the strength kan, the actors playing according to their strength, and that came across as the strength in their silat lah. So although there was improvisation involved.
I thought it's also interesting that actually it's also a strength in the audience also, that you have to know that it's a silat movement to recognize. Bagi aku, like, I thought they were doing sports in some ways. So when you mentioned that, it's so strong that it's kuda kepang, walaupun I was there in the process, so I knew it was ada silat base, but mata aku tak nampak. So it's the same like, so interesting.
If I probably try that scene, it wouldn't come across as silat lah. Or something else.
It'll be silap.
Oh, silap mata.
But then also we had like
Oh god.
certain scenes that outtakes lah, like was it made it in the film? Aku pun tak pasti. I think it was in the film, the one with the hand. So that felt like a very strong choreography for me. Walaupun macam susah gila. The one where we were walking with the hand. So I think like nanti kita, following the hand, giving things.
Colombian hypnosis.
So I was like curious, like aku rasa ada macam like element of hubungan, but also has element of improvisation. Because okay, you can see me in the picture that Nina is a different height from me, so macam susah gila like to do the squat. So I was curious like for sorry.
Ini dekat dengan magnet.
Knee magnet, that's what you mean by chi, is it?
Ya. Ni sama, ni macam overall apa yang saya dari kamera dan performer. Mana mata performer, mata kamera yang melihat tapak tangan performer lain. So mata jangan lari daripada tapak tangan. So gerakan kaki akan bergerak sendiri. Koreografi dia akan bergerak sendiri. Rentak-rentak. So, ini boleh kata contoh lah. Yang baik untuk apa itu yang saya cakap pasal magnet. Secara visual.
As expected from the film buff, the force is strong with you, magnet.
Tapi interesting tau, macam kalau I tengok this picture, walaupun ya memang ada koreografi involved, tapi order the movement, 3 actors different way of interpreting the movement tau. The same because I used to be in a musical show, musical theater. Tapi jangan Google, jangan YouTube, malu. So and in those kind of choreography, every movement, every performer has to be very precise. Yeah, so tak boleh subject to your own interpretation because when the audience see it has to be the same kan. Tapi in this, although it's choreographed, but it's subject to the actor's interpretation of how they're going to put the hand, So that to me was a very interesting, and of course when I saw Paik Yin, the way how you macam I would have had a back pain for weeks doing that lah.
I think it's interesting, I don't know, I just gotta throw it out there. For me, walaupun my movement practice start from contact improvisation, which is dance, tapi I tak pernah feel comfortable to say I'm dancer, walaupun sometimes people say, oh you do dance, but I personally don't feel comfortable. I think Syam also, dia ada sentuh satu point yang mungkin aku rasa insecure, aku dance tak precise, I can't do rhythm. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then nanti dia akan 1, 2, 3 or something goes macam pelik for lack of better words. So macam so it's also interesting for me to think about apa tu dance, apa tu choreography, because choreography kadang-kadang mungkin kita ada set expectation, choreography equals to something lah, a certain dance macam traditional dance, dia macam ada set kan. But how I see choreography, kadang-kadang sports pun ada sort of their own choreography. That's why I thought silat pun dia macam interesting tau. Dia ada satu set movements, but we call it sports. So
yes. Dan dia menggunakan rentak sama. 10 orang pelajar pesilat menggunakan rentak sama. So itu choreography. Dan dia repeat. Esok jam dia sama. Dan masuk pentas pun dia sama. So itu secara langsung dia ada unconscious choreography.
So I'm going to throw this outside, right? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Tadi ada cakap one term untuk yang pola pergerakan tu apa? What was the term tadi cakap yang kaki?
Pola lantai.
Pola lantai. Right. So semua jenis pergerakan atau sports atau so ada semua pola lantai yang berbeza.
So actually, Amirul touched on something.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. I thought Amirul touched on something interesting. Dia kata, in terms of repetition, then there's unconscious, right? So aku curious tau, bagi actor-actor yang pernah buat banyak rehearsal, if you think about it, you have to rehearse your blocking or your script. Dia ada one form of repetition lah. I was curious, mungkin rehearsal boleh dianggap sort of choreography, tapi Amirul not there to film you all je. What do you think about the idea of repetition? Because for dancers, kadang-kadang okay, there's a set choreography, kadang repetition will help make it more precise. Does repetition affect your own acting in terms of performing on theatre or film? Film ni macam how to say
Yeah, but just maybe my personal point of view, being in musical theatre and actor theatre, repetition in musical theatre it has to be very precise kan. Dia ada dia punya rhythm and all that, and you decide how what to do. Tiba-tiba malam the show, so tak ada. Tapi for me in theatre, although there is rehearsal where we do repetition, tapi every night is different. Every night, every show is different because it's how you be in the moment and how you're feeling it. So they are so when I was in IQ Rock, right, there was moments, especially I think it was the fourth show, I think Saturday. There was a very strong emotion because something happened to me that morning, and I actually cried in the scene, which I didn't cry before. Yeah. So for me, there is repetition, but it's very different from that one. So because and I think as actors, my fellow actors will echo that every performance is different. That's why we always ask, if you even watch one performance, go watch the next show. The Saturday it might be different, the matinee might be different, the night performance might be different lah. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely in the sense of it being a stage performance, yes. But in a film, macam mana kalau kita nak cakap kalau film pula? Because I don't have much experience in film, and then this time pun we didn't really have that much time to rehearse, or rather not having much time to rehearse. It was preferred not to have a rehearsal. Love the pictures, by the way. It was preferred not to have rehearsals, more of having it impromptu. It was that was what we were trying to get out of it, kan? Tapi yeah, but I do agree that in each with repetition, even though with repetition, each performance would definitely be different depending on the energy. Yeah, but the thing is about film is just adapted energy. Yeah, like on that time itself. So it's not carried forward kind of energy.
Sorry, I cut you off just now. To add on to Hannan, actually the camera
I think you can cut,
capture what is at
the scene, but
Okay, I think there was a bit of a lag there. Maybe we go from Farah then Sham.
Okay, sorry. I think stuck the internet. Okay. Because to add on dengan Hannan punya points, because the camera just capture at the moment, walaupun the scene boleh di-cut dan ditambah, tapi apa yang di-capture at the moment boleh kalau ditayang ulang berkali-kali, you can still feel the same thing, yang sangat berbeza dengan apa yang dipentaskan di atas pentas. Sebab tu orang still akan suggest come see the next show instead of you can replay this show again and again.
On that note, you can watch our trailer on YouTube. Just to bring it up. You can go to there, the link, which is supposedly there on, and yeah, watch our trailer on YouTube. Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Okay, saya ada something cakap pasal performer dalam screen, dalam filem. Filem ni dia special sikit. Kalau pentas teater untuk menyelahkan seseorang pelakon tu, dia perlukan banyak pergerakan tubuh, blocking dan lighting untuk dia menyelah. Untuk kalau filem, seseorang tu tak buat apa, duduk senyap dalam gelap, dia masih interesting. Dia masih orang akan follow. Contoh saya filem yang macam tu, filem Pedro Costa. Dia karakter keluar jalan slow secara dalam 15 minit, tapi dia stay macam orang engage. Orang macam nak tahu apa next. Tapi kalau pentas teater, kalau dia slow satu rasa orang dah belah. Kan? Kata ni apa ni? Tapi ada ke Tapi contohnya macam pentas dancing, Pina Bausch, orang anggap itu adalah something yang macam wow, so interesting.
Tapi yang interesting with this film, dia ada element of improv, dia ada theatre actors, dia ada dalam stage. So like there's certain scenes that macam black box juga. Like for example, like kalau kita balik ke koreografi juga, like boleh kata like camera juga satu koreografi. Like initially kita ada discuss macam Amirul walk with the camera. Oh sorry. Sekejap. improv. So Amirul pun kena improv, like follow the actors. So like macam scene tadi is the camera is quite static, right?
Yeah.
Panning sikit, and there's some elements of improv. I think in the sense like kita masa tu I remember this scene Sadiq kat situ beduk ada. I wasn't even sure like what I was supposed to do, and then like we were trying on wardrobe and then something just happened. Mungkin Sadiq boleh refresh memory aku, because you mentioned something about how the camera pun ada koreografi sendiri kan, like when it pans and when it stays still.
Yeah. I think kan, for this thing kan, macam both of us kan, macam the camera and also the actor pun macam kita ada movement yang dah di-plan, tapi somehow it's not as planned as it should be. Macam like I think like the whole process, because we already have the script kan, macam so macam Ridwan dah tahu apa dia nak buat for that scene, but we just don't like in theater we have that ni lah, macam the repetition of practice tu kan, but on this scene macam just okay for camera he knows like this movement from here to here, so from this frame macam ada seorang dan reveal to another one dan reveal to another one kan. So macam it feels like macam kita pun macam okay camera datang sini, so you have to be ready to like here and like that. Macam one thing about repetition tu kan, yes we didn't macam practice how macam dekat theater lah, macam kita ada practice setiap and all tu ada exact ketepatan tu kan. Tapi I think macam film one, actually kalau kita so our purpose is to do a device kan, macam nak buat satu benda yang collaborative macam on macam semua kan. So anyway that's how macam bila semua in the process macam semua we trust each other kan. So macam we know that we just know macam okay Ridwan nak macam ni, so everyone have our own visual macam it's going to be like that, and we just trust the process and just go with it kan. Because I remember in theater once lah, masa when I was studying dekat when I was study diploma dulu, Dr. Zizi dia pernah ajar satu exercise untuk kita orang untuk kelas ensemble tau, untuk mendapatkan ketepatan kita orang untuk nak jadi ensemble berlakon at the end lah. Tapi we didn't practice the scene pun. Kita orang tak practice pun macam mana nak berlakon as ensemble. But instead for a month, every week dia ada bagi this 1 hour punya exercise. If I'm not mistaken, it's called Suzuki method. Macam kita orang macam we have to crawl and and everyone have to do that and walk serentak and and just to make untuk disiplin pelakon lah kan, just for pelakon punya disiplin, to make sure we trust our friend juga, so whatever it is we are going to bergerak sama. So I think macam in Tiada Cinta Selama Muda we didn't practice macam a month buat exercise untuk dapat ketepatan, but the thing that we have is we trust each other tu lah kan, macam we know yang we just trust the process and it's going to be like this, and we together have the same vision tu lah kan. So yeah,
I thought it's important to mention also that walaupun we didn't rehearse, tapi there was repetition happening. Like I remember Hannan was mentioning that when she was in the pantai scene ada banyak repetition because you keep having to do the scene again. And for me, like I had a scene with Rashid and Sandy, and that took many takes. So because many takes equals like Amirul pun juga ada repetition yang banyak. And also interesting sebab tadi like what Sadiq mentioned, like kat scene yang kat black box tu is almost like Amirul the one that move and we are there, we have our own movement, tapi yang paling the leading movement is the camera in terms of that scene. Actually most of it is like the camera is leading kan in some ways, like the camera frame.
I mean macam that scene kan, macam we just need to wait for the camera. We already know our spot, we already know macam in theater we already know our blocking lah kan. So macam we just tunggu the camera datang je. So that one is like moving a camera movement. But I think the pantai is like we together move together lah kan.
So actually I was also curious about like as a audience kan, like ada perasan tak? Like in terms of like when the camera and the actor move together, or like when the frame, for lack of better words, or the stage is more static.
Yeah. So bila I tengok scene ni, because the previous scene was more outdoors kan, tiba-tiba masuk, this is a bit interesting. But I agree. Amirul played a very active part in kind of in a way, I don't know, from an audience point of view, like controlling the movement instead of the actors moving and the camera is still. So that was interesting to me because the element of performance in theater is kind of brought into this wide lens. So that was, and I think for me the beauty of this movie is, in a way, I think the immersiveness. Of course, you can't have that sense, the smell tak ada. Tapi the immersiveness of theater has been brought to the bigger picture. And of course, when I saw the scene, macam ada macam elemen dekat jalan belakang kan, like, but without even having to be at jalan belakang dekat lorong, but I kind of felt that, yeah. So yeah, that's from my point of view as an audience.
So I think like oh sorry, were you going to say something, Sham?
Oh no, that's it.
Yeah, so I think like we have like about 13 minutes, so mungkin kita boleh like sentuh on like one more last teaser still for you guys. Dia ada satu scene.
Maybe like a favorite scene, favorite scene. And a unanimous favorite scene or something from like a good camera work punya point of view.
Because we were talking about.
Do we have a
because we were talking about sports, so I thought like we can talk about in terms like there's one scene where, you know, like macam the scene of like playing basketball, macam dia macam ada chaos sikit, and masa tu aku ingat like I remember like Amirul was initially holding the camera, tapi later on Ridwan pula yang hold camera. So mungkin like, you know, Amirul boleh cakap sikit pasal ni. Like, why did you pass the camera to Ridwan? Or Ridwan yang tanya ke, atau macam mana like proses dia?
Ini proses belakang takbir kalau proses belakang takbir memang sini paling hardcore camera movement. Mana saya kena follow, bukan setakat performer, saya kena follow bola. Tiba-tiba ada bola jadi extra performer. Dan bola tu berpindah randam dengan kelajuan yang sangat tak.
Sekarang kita ada bola pula sebagai extra performer kita. Semua dalam Kaos Nol punya ensemble. Semua ni memang part of it. Yeah, definitely.
Lepas tu dengan situ memang kios bagi saya sebab kan lighting memang tembak kiri kanan Lepas tu kamera memang perlu tembak atas. So saya pening kepala, so saya switch kepada Ridwan.
Masa tu cameraman
switch kepada Ridwan.
senam weh.
Aku dalam scene basketball ni, I remember like actually I pernah main basketball, so sudah lama tak sentuh. Suddenly I was like, oh, main sport je. Actually I forgot about the camera. Tapi ada perasaan juga because you have to be kalau sports or acting whatever, you still have to be perasan, like make sure you do like perasan orang lain lah, for like better. So aku pun perasan like Amirul pass camera Ridwan. Then like interesting, I remember like scene itu Ridwan holding the camera, but I felt like he's also playing basketball with us, for like a better words. Mungkin sebab that masa scene basketball, we are all chasing the ball. So itu macam chaos, not chaos lah. As a basketballer, you're not chaos. Tapi I suppose for film dia agak like you cannot predict. There is no prediction other than the ball.
Untuk partner performer dia tak rasa chaos tu sebab dia fokus pada bola, pada dia punya play. Untuk cameraman dia play adalah camera movement. So camera movement ni dia kena capture everything, kena embrace everything, space apa yang ada dalam space tu semua dia kena embrace, tapi kena tahu apa subjek nak ambil. So itu jadi problem kat saya, itu pening kepala mana lighting terlalu sharp, tembak. Dan ada satu
Ada favorite scene ke? Ada favorite scene?
Apa?
Amirul, ada favorite scene that you captured? Do you have a favorite scene?
Oh, ni dah. Saya setiap kali saya menonton filem ni banyak scene, bertambah scene favourite. Tapi mula-mula saya suka satu part yang di mana ada nature, lebih-lebih ada air. Tapi bila ditonton banyak kali, saya rasa dia bukan pasal nature, dia pasal unity, semangat cinta dalam golongan muda kan. Tiada cinta selama muda. Dia pasal tu, dia bukan pasal sebab saya terlalu bias maybe sebab saya adalah seorang yang suka nature. Tapi saya tengok beberapa kali filem ni, masa 4-5 kali juga. Saya tak rasa cerita ini mengenai ekosistem dia. Cerita ini mengenai apa itu cinta kepada anak muda, kepada orang muda. Muda itu bukan muda secara visual, muda secara semangat dan everything. Dia boleh describe dengan pelbagai cara.
Tapi yang scene
Some
tadi
might
gambar
argue that's
interesting kan.
Oh, sorry Syam.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just saying some might argue that that's an ecosystem on its own.
Yeah.
What he just mentioned. Yeah.
Talking about ecosystem, the scene kan, yang final scene yang gambar tadi tu, bawah jambatan tu, very interesting kan, because macam tadi kat pantai, lepas tu kat indoor, and then went back to, and that scene dekat bawah, I don't know, bawah jambatan kot, macam tak terlalu outdoorsy, but tak terlalu in juga tau, macam in between. So and for me kan yang interesting because even the shooting of that scene tu kan macam a bit more guerrilla tau, macam almost like Jason Bond identity. Kalau you tengok macam the camera was very active. So macam Amirul, I rasa macam tengok tu macam you paling aktif lah dalam scene tu. You punya pergerakan tangkap scene tu, macam movement tu semua kan. So I cannot, I always think about Jason Bond identity bila tengok that scene for some reason.
So that basketball scene is our final still for this presentation. And as Amirul has mentioned, he's not holding the camera for that scene. It's also Ridwan. So you watch the film sebab it's not always like one person's perspective that you're watching framing the whole show. Dia agak interesting for everybody. So mungkin like we can kind of wrap it up sebab kita ada 6 minutes left. And so I think like today, like we kind of seemed like quite all over the place. Tapi actually we were talking a bit about like, you know, we started off by introducing ourselves, and then like we had a short talk, like discussion about the difference between choreography dengan blocking. Kalau siapa-siapa yang interested in this, nanti pukul 4, that's panel 4. Panel 2 that starts at 4. Boleh sentuh lebih in terms of like, you know, how the relationship between film and theatre. Kita juga cakap like the relationship between, you know, actor to actor, relationship with the camera, relationship with the audience, dan tambah lagi relationship with the environment, angin, bola, that's happened in site specific punya performance. And also like that, we also talk a lot about like the element of improvisation and how we adapt ourselves dengan the situation lah in some ways. Like I think we all had fun. I got to know you all a lot more. Macam fun jugalah. And it's funny, I feel like dia macam like instant way to like, you know, buddy, I know personal stuff about you now. Lagipun what's interesting dalam proses Tiada Cinta Selama Muda ni, actually we were supposed to do a performance tonight Tapi because of CNCO tak jadi. So in some interesting ways, all of us, well not all of us, some of us had to write scripts and also kind of co-direct / act. So kalau you nak know what it's all about, dia macam a little taste of who we are in some ways. That is at 8 o'clock. So there's still a lot going on today. Mungkin we can kind of end without telling the sequence of the film. What is our favorite scene? Jangan-jangan scene sendiri pula. So maybe this time, since we start with Amirul tadi, we start from the back lah. Like not back as in back, but from the alphabet kat belakang, which is Syam. So Syam, which is your favorite scene kat movie ni?
Scene sorry, I mute. Sebelum mula kita cerita tu, because I think the combination of external element, you know, the three actors, I think that brought a sense of feeling to me lah. So that's my favorite scene. Yeah.
Tadi ada potong Syam. So you all audience just have to figure out which scene that Syam likes and watch the movie. Mungkin itu like spoiler. So we move on to Sadiq.
The first scene, yang pantai scene.
Okay. He told you the answer. If you guys guessed it right, you get a clap. So we move on to Sadiq.
Okay, is it? Okay. My favorite scene. Okay, you know what? Honestly, it's so hard for me to choose one because I love all of it because you know because all of the scene felt very jujur except the first day because I feel like all of the scene semua keluar very jujur and the first scene je, I mean like the scene yang dekat pantai because I asked Ridwan what should I feel, so that one I rasa I'm a bit ada lakonan sikit, but somehow I rasa if I really have to choose one, my favorite scene is scene Farah dengan Roshafiq dekat dalam tu kena tengok ni lah kan, I cannot tell lah kan which one kan, tapi tu lah Farah dengan Roshafiq yang the one dekat dalam that is the scene. Favorite scene. I love that scene. Yes.
Try to guess correct.
Yes.
So you can kind of guess lah what it means.
The scene.
Wait, I need to ask a question to Sadiq though. When you mention a scene, is this the reason why we get a rating for NC-16 for the film kat Singapore? Is that your favorite scene?
No, I didn't see that scene tapi maybe we'll see. Korang kena tengok lah kan.
Wait, what about Singapore? What about Singapore? What?
So actually also like Tiada Cinta Selama Muda will be having a world premiere kat Singapore International Film Festival. It's a world premiere and
Monday.
kesiannya only Singaporeans can watch it for now, but maybe our Singaporean audience can tell us if that is the reason why we get NC-16, like scene Farah dengan Roshafiq. So all single seats are sold out, tapi like, you know, bring your partner and watch something about love. So kesiannya kita tak boleh pergi Singapore, but maybe if anybody's interested in bringing Malaysia, please contact Moka Mocha Ink and Bin Film. So looks like the next is me kot. So I'm biased. There's a lot of favorite scenes. But since everybody chose the pantai scene, I'm just going to give a little spoiler. I like the durian scene because I like durian, and I can't. And it's a bit surreal. I like the pantai. The pantai scene is memorable, tapi like I thought like if I mention pantai scene, like macam like follow lah semua orang. And dah lah cannot mention my own scene dengan Farah. So I choose durian, safest. Because if you hate durian, tak apa. This is a interesting thing to look out for. I think haters of durian will also appreciate this.
Sorry, I have to say this. I I have the scene on the motorbike on the roundabout. That is also another favorite scene. Yeah.
Plenty of
You see
favorite
that?
scenes at Film Mini. So Singaporeans, please tell us what's your favorite scene or like multiple scenes. So up next ialah Hannan.
Farah dulu tak?
Hannan can also.
I can also.
H,
Alah, she took my scene. I like the durian scene.
but H first before L.
Hey, durian. The durian scene is the scene that also we shouldn't have mentioned durian because that's a definite spoiler. Like, who has a durian in a film, like just being there like that? So, what did I say? Nothing. But yeah, that scene. But okay, I change it up a bit. If it is a favorite scene that I really like, okay lah, bias lah because I'm in that scene. But the sunset scene, it was with Shuni, and I don't know, that day was just very calming in a way for me. And I know Sadiq was there, right? Sadiq, you were overlooking the shoot, right?
Yeah.
There's something beautiful about shooting with nature, and I think that was really a beautiful scene. It's one of the, I think that scene is you can see kalau kat trailer is one of the first stills yang Shuni dengan I pakai baju biru belang-belang tu. Yeah, that scene.
Oh, aku nak komen pasal scene tu. You guys look like macam natural sangat, like best buddies. But too bad we don't have time to like.
Farah? Belum?
That's true. Farah.
Oh.
Okay, Farah pula. Farah punya favourite scene, okay, basically sama macam semua juga. Semua scene is apa?
Oh, but it was very like the conversation was very like, okay, Farah.
It's alright. Farah punya scene was Nina dengan Rashid. That one. Yang tu for me, I macam, even though it's choreographed, tapi you can sense ada kesepakatan kat situ macam, kau nak ke tak nak? Kau nak ke tak nak? Tapi aku tengoklah cerita tu.
Okay, and finally yang paling susah question tu Amirul, sebab dia mostly behind the camera, so all of them are is his baby, is the scene. So Amirul, maaf ya kena tanya, which is your favourite?
Si favourite saya rasa si favourite saya susah nak pilih lah. Tapi yang first saya total saya suka yang apa ni interview Sandy dengan Farid tepi tasik. Itu first saya nampak, wow, so iconic. Iconic dia bukan iconic sebab saya punya framing, bukan saya sebab ni. Tapi sebab dia punya apa ni perasaan, emosi. Dia sebab masa tu senja, air tu macam bergelora. Dia macam sangat cantik. Lepas tu dengan apa ni Farid dengan apa ni Sandy macam syat-syat. Dia macam wow, comel. Itulah.
Okay, so kita dah sampai almost like, yeah, we are at the end. So as you can see kat poster ni, like 4 PM ada forum.
Shy. Okay.
So kalau we are at close to the end, mungkin kita ada banyak bincang lagi, sebab without giving too much away, like you can see today is like a full program about Sesi Fikirasa, Tiada Cinta Selama Muda. So this is actually, we did this also partially because, you know, Singaporeans can watch it. Aku macam like saw, but you know, we can also kind of get a taste of what this film is all about. So kalau for anybody who's interested between the difference between acting on screen and on stage, boleh continue on the conversation kat 4 PM dengan moderator dan panel yang lain, panel other actors who also acted in this film. So you can get different perspective. And jangan lupa 8 PM ada performance. It's a YouTube premiere. Dia macam deconstruct Tiada Cinta Selama Muda. Dia can we say it's related? Yes, because all the actors are in the film. But in the end, you can see lah where it goes. I think somebody mentioned scene cucuk rokok yang paling icon. Yeah, Ali Aiman must win. That one came out kat Singapore SGIEFF code punya apa? Final film. So I predict
The international poster girl.
So I predict this film is going to be an icon. So hopefully we get to watch it in Malaysia. And yeah, kalau siapa-siapa interested in knowing more about this film, please join us at 4 PM for the forum and 8 PM for the performance kat YouTube program. I swear you're not going to regret it. So thank you everybody for staying with us and listening to us. Thank you to the panel for sharing their thoughts. I hope you take us walaupun we went to like scientific and science, tapi in the end it meant like it still went back to film because Amirul meant Star Wars. And just like love, many ways to define it. I hope you enjoy our performance and the talk later on. And if you get to watch the film, I hope you really enjoy it. So thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you everyone.